I'm often asked if accent reduction is even possible, or if it would take more effort than it's worth. Well, the good news is that accent reduction isn't only possible, but as you watch this video, you'll see it's easier than you think. Here's what I love about American accent training and why it really piqued my interest so many years ago when I first started 14 years ago. I love the science of it. I love that you can expect results, okay? So accent reduction is guaranteed. There is a set method and a system and a process that is scientifically proven to work, okay? Sounding 100% exactly like a native speaker, now that takes Olympic effort. And I'll talk more about sounding exactly like a native speaker in another video. But today, let's talk about accent reduction training, or reducing a foreign accent to sound more like a native speaker, okay? So let's imagine two lines here, okay? We have one line that's sounding like a native, okay, from someone who has a very strong accent to someone who sounds completely native. Okay, and another line, or spectrum, if you will, that's confidence. So confidence speaking English. So one is you are very, very insecure and you won't speak up, you won't say anything in English because you're not feeling confident at all, to feeling completely confident, free to speak whatever you want to say, and feeling great about the way that you speak English. So we have these two spectrums, all right? The goal for English communication, or just communication in general, is to be easily understood, to communicate clearly. And most importantly, you want to feel confident in the way that you speak, okay? So speaking like a native, we have this spectrum that we're kind of moving you across and improving that confidence. Okay, so as you improve your pronunciation, as you improve the sounds and the rhythm that you're using in American English, you're gonna sound more and more like a native English speaker. Now, with that, often what happens, and I've seen this with so many of my students, is as they increase and improve in their pronunciation, their confidence improves. They feel better about the way that they speak English. And so that confidence grows and builds and kind of matches that line of improving in your spoken English. Now, I have seen this happen where someone is very far on that continuum of sounding like a native speaker, but their confidence is way back here. Okay? It doesn't match up. Okay, so there's more to it than just learning to speak like a native speaker. We have to really be building that confidence. But first, let's talk about the actual skill of accent reduction. So again, it's a proven science. If you take these specific steps, you're guaranteed to reduce an accent. So what are these steps? Well, the first, you need to learn the sounds of American English. Okay, you need to understand the sound system, the phonetics of American English. You need to understand what you're saying and what a native English speaker says. Okay, you're sounding accented because you use the sounds and rhythm of your mother tongue while speaking English. So we have to reshape these sounds. So here are some examples of common errors that I hear from my students. Okay, the American TH sound. So there's a voiced and a voiceless version. So th or th. Okay, voiced has your vocal cords vibrating, and voiceless is they're not vibrating. It's just airflow. Okay, th, th. Okay, so very commonly, instead of the th sound, my students will be saying d or z. Okay, they sound very similar to the TH sound. The key difference is the mouth position. So the TH needs to be between the teeth. So the D and the Z, d, z, are behind the teeth. To a native English speaker, this is a very distinct difference. So if you say dis or zis instead of this, they're going to hear that. They're going to notice that. It will be a pronunciation error. And sometimes it's a whole different word. So if you're saying one sound for another, it may change the word completely and cause a lot of miscommunication. So another example, think is sometimes pronounced as sink or tink, okay? Think about it, think about it. Think about it, think about it. Okay, do you hear that difference? Okay, so that TH, you may be pronouncing that word different. You might be using a different sound. So it's very important to get clear about what you're doing and what a native speaker is doing in the sounds of American English. So the other part of accent reduction is reshaping the rhythm. Okay, this includes intonation and word stress, sentence stress, linking, pausing, chunking, all of these rules. Okay, there's all these rules, all these elements of the rhythm of American English. So for example, when it comes to word stress, the word bicycle. Okay, I've heard bicycle, where it's second syllable stress, and they're pronouncing a different vowel at the beginning. Bicycle versus bicycle. Okay, so that is a word stress difference. Now, another common mistake is intonation. So especially with my French speakers, the intonation will rise and they'll go up at the end of a sentence all the time, okay? So that intonation rises, da-da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da, da-da, and it goes up. In American English, that intonation tends to drop at the end of a sentence, da-da-da-da, 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 okay? So we have to learn the rules of the rhythm of American English. Understand when to rise, when to lower, when to stress, when to unstress, when to reduce, how to link and connect. All of these elements have rules that you can learn and you can practice in your own English pronunciation. So there's no need to feel overwhelmed. There is a very step-by-step method that anyone can learn. So I have trained thousands of non-native English speakers from all different parts of the world and with all kinds of native tongues. And what I've found is as you go through this step-by-step process of learning and reshaping the sounds of American English and learning and reshaping the rhythm of American English, you will be able to reduce that foreign accent as you're speaking English. It takes time, but it's not a matter of if it can happen for you, it's only a matter of when. And for so many of you, you may be sitting there going, I just don't even think it's possible for me. And I guarantee it's possible for you. It doesn't matter when you learned English, how old or young you are, how talented you are in your communication skills. None of that matters, because as you follow a step-by-step system, you will figure it out. You will be able to retrain your mouth and the way that you hear American English and the way that you communicate in American English. So if you're curious about what it takes to sound 100% native, check out this next video, How to Speak American English Like a Native Speaker.